Alright guys, so welcome to my first YouTube video. In this video we're going to be basically just doing a double integral example, and I'm going to walk you guys through it and so you can kind of see, okay, how should I set up this problem and how should I attack this problem. So let's first read the problem. So we're evaluating the double integral, and we can see it's e to the x cubed dA, where D is the region bounded by y equals 0, x equals 2, and y equals x squared. So the first thing we should do is we should try to graph our actual bounds, right? So we have our x here and our y here, and so let's make this red here. We saw y equals 0 is the first one, so let's draw that here, y equals 0. Let's do the second one, which is x equals 2. So let's just say this is 2 here, so we can just draw that like this. X equals 2. Let's write a 2 right there. And then finally we have y equals x squared, which we know is a parabola like this. And then it goes, to infinity, but we'll just draw some arrows on that, and we'll write y equals x squared. Okay, great. So where is our kind of region that we are integrating for? We're looking in right here in between the x squared, the x equals 2 and the y equals 0, right? And that's kind of where we're finding our region of integration. So now that we have that, let's set up our bounds, and we know that our x here is going from 0 to 2, and we see our y is going from 0 right here all the way up to wherever this x squared is going to be. So our y bound is going from 0 to x squared, right? So let's set that up in an integral now. So we have, like we said, our x integral is going to be from 2 to 0, and our y integral is going to be from x squared to 0. So we can write y equals x squared, x equals 2, right? And then we have our e to the x cubed, from the beginning. And then that's all from, let's go with dy first because we have the y first, and then is dx for the x right here. So we kind of have this set up now. If you've taken Calc 2, this is pretty easy from here, but I'll walk you guys through it either way. So now we're going to integrate with respect to y, so let's do that now. So since there's actually no y in this actual equation, we don't have a y here, for example, we are actually just integrating a constant technically, which means we'll just add a y. So we'd have e to the x cubed times y, and then we'll do that from x squared to 0, from y equals x squared to y equals 0, and then we'll have x equals 2 to 0 dx still. So let's first solve this inner integral. So we have e to the x cubed times x squared minus e to the x cubed times 0, right? Because we're putting in the x squared for y and the 0 for y. And this will go to 0, so we just have e to the x cubed times x squared, and then we'll have the integral x equals 2 up here and 0, and then we have dx. So now this is another integral that we're just going to solve. And the way I'm going to attack this one is I'm going to use u substitution. So I'm going to go u equals x cubed, which means that du dx equals 3x squared, or du equals 3x squared dx. So now with that, we can just do u substitution, and we'll get e to the u times. And remember, we have to account for this 3 because we have the x squared here, but we don't have a 3 in this problem. So I'm going to so we're dividing by x squared dx, right? So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to put a 1/3 on the outside of the integral, and then this is du right here. And then we need to set up the bounds in terms of u. So the way we can do that is we can take this 2 and plug it into this u equals x cubed. So we get u equals 2 cubed, which is equal to 8. So that's going to be our first integral right there, first bound, sorry. And our second one, we're just going to do it with 0, so u equals 0 cubed, which is just equal to 0. So we're going to write that there. Okay. And then finally, we're just going to integrate. So the integral of e to the u du is just still e to the u. So we have 1/3 on the outside, and then we're evaluating from a to 0. So our integral is going to be 1/3 e to the 8 minus e to the 0. And we know e to the 0 is equal to 1. So we're just going to write 1/3 e to the 8 minus 1. And that's the final answer. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And yeah, thank you very much.